welcome everybody in Facebook land, over there on Facebook Live. And I welcome you to Aharonic Messianic Fellowship. This Shabbat, what day is today? June 6th.
D-Day.
6th. Today's June D-Day?
That's right.
Today's D-Day. But I welcome you, and I pray that you will all be at peace and that you all enter into the presence of the Lord today. So, Abba, I ask in the name of Yeshua, Lord, anybody who needs a healing out there, them or their families, that you bring forth the healing. Lord, that you would touch every soul, Lord, through the internet waves, through the airwaves, through the internet. Abba, I ask, Lord, that you would just come and be with us, Lord, and be with them, Abba, where they're at, Abba. Let there be no divide between us, Abba, because of this modern technology that you have given us, Lord, that allows us to be together even though we're apart. But Lord, I just ask for you to bless us, Lord. Keep all the equipment working good, Abba. Keep the sound system working good, the instruments. Abba, I ask, Lord, that everything would work peacefully and good. And Lord, that you will hold back the powers of the enemy. Abba, we have authority over the enemy, over the scorpions, and over the serpents. They're under our feet. In the name of Yeshua. Lord, I ask that you would send forth your healing to those that need healing. There's a lot of people that need healing. Send forth your healing. As that shofar blows, let it already set things in motion, Abba, in the spirit realm for healing and all sorts of amazing things to happen in all of our lives. In the name of Yeshua.
ברוך אתה יהוה אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על מצוות שופר. Blessed are you, Yehovah our Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by your commandments and has commanded us to sound the shofar.
Starting a little late out there. Well, we're starting late, but better late than never. So, we're going to do the Shema. Very good. Thank you. Hopefully, the battery it's in the red here. So. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Okay, well, we're going to do the Shema. Josh can bring it up. If you can't, then I'll just do it. You all stand and face the east. We're saying and speaking to Israel for her salvation, for her to find the God of Israel in spirit, not just in word. So, I think you'll be able to bring it up, Josh, or no? We have technical malfunctions, but any ain't going to stop the Shabbat.
No.
Okay, let's just go ahead. I'll read it. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malachuto, Leolam Vaed. Hear, O Yisrael, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Blessed is the name of his glorious kingdom for all eternity. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ולדתך בדרך, ותשטפך וקומך, וקשרתם ליוצא ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, ותתם במזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And have these words which I command you this day be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently to your children. And speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you retire, and when you arise. And you shall bind them as a sign upon your hand, and let them be frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Just for your knowledge out there, you can turn around and face the west again. Okay. You can sit down if you want. This blessing is really powerful. It's what keeps us separate and different from the rest of the world. You know why all this violence is going on in the world? Because they don't have this. They don't teach their children the things of God. And because of that, anything is lawful, even crime and destroying and killing. Okay? Because they're not taught the ways of God. To be in the world is to really lose your life, to follow the ways of the world. But to follow the ways of God is to be close to Him, is to love Him, is to, have His word upon our hearts and to teach our children. But look at it. It says to bind them as a sign upon your hand and let them be frontlets between your eyes. That's God's mark upon us. Think about that. Because the Antichrist, the false Messiah, what is he going to do? He's going to mark their hand on their foreheads. He's going to take that scripture and make it for him because he wants to be God. So he's going to say, well, this is how I'm going to mark my people. Just as the Jews mark their people, I'm going to mark it on their forehead or on their arm, on their hands. You see? Everything that God does, he only twists and perverts. But if that is important for him to do that, to mark people, well, God marks his people. Well, you have to be willing to say, yeah, give me your mark. I want your mark. I want your seal upon me because it's the seal of the covenant. Okay. Did we do the Ve'ahavta l're'echa kamocha?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. Let's go to, well, I'm going to read page 64. There is none like you, ein kamocha. I'm sorry for the problems with the video. Okay, ein kamocha. There is none like you among the gods, O Lord, and there is nothing like your works. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion is throughout all generations. The Lord reigns, the Lord has reigned, and the Lord will reign forever and ever. And the Lord will give strength to his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. Amen. Amen. Now for the Torah processional. Okay. Josh, do you want to carry the Torah?
Sure.
When the ark would travel. When the ark would travel, Moshe would say, "Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered. And let them that hate you flee from you. For from Zion will go forth the Torah and the word of Yehovah from Jerusalem. Blessed be he who in his holiness gave the Torah to his people, Yisrael. Vayehi bin so'aro vayomer Moshe. Kuma Adonai v'yavutzu oivecha v'yanusu mitzanecha mipanecha ki mitzion tetzei Torah ki mitzion tetzei Torah u'devar Adonai v'Yerushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'Kedushato. Why do we kiss the Torah? We love Messiah, and he is the Word of God. That's Yeshua. It's a type of shadow, because it does say in that part that we read, the Word will go forth from Jerusalem. It's a prophetic word, and the Torah of the Lord from Jerusalem. So Yeshua will be our teacher, and we will be going up to learn every Shabbat. And it says in Isaiah 66, all flesh, from one Sabbath to another, from one new moon to another, shall come to worship the Lord the King in that day. Every Shabbat, every new moon. A new moon is once a month. Every Shabbat is every week. And you might say, well, what if I'm looking across the world? You know what? When that time comes, the limitations that we have are not going to be there. We want to go, we'll just think of it, we'll be there. Or there'll be portals or other things set up for us to walk into, and we'll be in Jerusalem. And there'll be lots of places to stay there for Shabbat. But it's going to be unending worship and learning the secret things of God. The angels will be singing, the priests will be singing, and it'll be unreal. The level of joy that no one will want to be anywhere else.
Yes.
They will only want to be there because of the joy and the peace that will be there. So, anyhow, let's do the blessing for the Torah. Baruch Adonai Haborah, Baruch Adonai Haborach Leolam Vaed, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Acharanu Mikol Ha'amim V'na'atan Lanu Et Torato, Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. Bless the Lord to bless the one. Blessed is the Lord, the blessed one for all eternity. And blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has chosen us from all peoples and given us his Torah. Blessed are you, O Lord, giver of the Torah. Amen. Amen. Okay, Debbie, want to come to the announcement?
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. A few announcements. Okay, the Hebrew class is today. So we're going to start the class all over again, one letter per week. And then after the service and lunch from between 1:30 and 2. And then after that, we're going to be watching a series called The Chosen. I don't know if Rabbi, you want to kind of talk a little bit about it? The Chosen.
Yeah. This series is based on the Gospels. We'll be doing one video a week for the next 8 weeks. Okay, because there's only been one season. It's a TV series, but it's only online. Okay? And it brings us a perspective of the Gospels and Yeshua that is really amazing. Actually, as if you were there in a sense. And if you were seeing through the eyes of the apostle what it was like to meet Yeshua. That's the best way to tell. It will touch your heart. Okay, and if there's any questions, we will stop it. If anybody has questions about anything, and there'll be at times through the weeks, there'll be little teachings, okay, that I'm going to share with you about it, okay, about the videos that we're seeing. So anyhow, you'll be blessed by it. But it's like around 50 minutes or so, maybe 53 minutes, as much as 53 minutes. So it'll be right after we do the Hebrew class. The Hebrew class will be like 20, 30 minutes. We're only doing one letter a week. And I'm really hoping that you will like take in the letters this time. With only one letter a week, it should be easy to learn the Hebrew. Because by the time we get 22 weeks into it, which is like 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, like 5 months, we'll be through all the letters. Okay? And then we can start putting it together because you'll know them really well. Because this is the test. If you don't know them real well by then, we're going to stop the class and say, okay, forget it, it didn't work. Okay, but I'm hoping it will work, okay? So, anyhow, what's wrong, Josh?
Nothing.
Okay.
There was a message that came up and then it went away.
If you got it. Okay.
Okay, and then once a month, the first Tuesday of each month, we get together to pray for Israel at J-Hop. Their building is out East Yandel. You are welcome to come if you can. It's from 10 to 11. And the next prayer is Tuesday morning, July 7th. I know some of you have attended and we haven't really. It's a very good time and we just get a lot of revelation and praying for Israel. So if you can make it out, okay? So we have prayer on Facebook Messenger every Friday morning at 10 a.m. The Red Sea Miracle, the second portion, the documentary will be aired online very soon. We will gather together either at the church or somebody else's house. For those who still can't gather with others, you'll have to pay separately to see it at your home with an internet connection. And Rabbi will let you know the date that it's going to air.
It's going to be very soon. Probably within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have a date for this movie to be shown. But it's going to be an online thing. I think we have to pay, and we can bring everybody over to see it. Okay, so we'll either do it here if we can, because I don't know what the internet connection is here. Okay, and if not, then we'll do it at somebody's house, or later we'll buy it and we'll see it that way. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and this is an important date. Sunday evening, June 28th, about 3 weeks from tomorrow, the Mishkanim. Okay, that's the group that was supposed to come a long time ago to help, with the worship. Yes, and COVID-19. So they're going to be coming to Texas again here at our ministry. So those who need the address, Rabbi will also tell you the address. So, okay, remember the tithes and the offering. This is for the ministry, and this is for Israel. And for those who want to give online, the Cash App handle is the $, Rabbi, and then the initials KHMF.
This Mishkanim is going to be really special. And just come in to worship, because we're just going to worship for I don't know how long. They're going to play, an hour and a half maybe. And, it's just going to be a very special thing. Invite everybody you know. Fill this place up, because I know everybody who hears them will be blessed. Okay, and, you may not know their music. Well, you know what? Mishkanim, actually, Mishkan, plural, meaning like we are all tabernacles. The word for tabernacle is Mishkan. Okay, so we are all tabernacles. So that's what it means. He tabernacles with us. That's what their name means. And you know what? You get to know their music through YouTube. Mishkanim, Mishkanim, and listen to their music and get to know their music. Okay, but when they come, they're just going to lead us into the presence of the Lord with praise and worship. And they always have some interesting stories to tell about their meetings. So we wanted to do this, 3 months ago, but then all this happened with COVID and they had to cancel. They had to cancel a lot of their dates and stuff, but it was really tough because we were really looking forward to it. But we got 3 weeks from tomorrow. It's going to be fun. It'll be in the evening, starting at around 6. Okay, so.
You said the 28th?
The 28th, yes, June 28th. Okay, and it'll be a good time for all. We'll be taking up an offering too for them, so that it help cover their expenses. and everything, and also to bless them. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get into some worship and praise to the Lord. You all got a copy of the songs?
Yes.
Okay. Now I just need to tell you that we're not going to do it. I don't have it. They're not numbered because we're not going to do them in the order that you see. So if you just have to look for the songs. Yeah.
Let's just get into the presence of the Lord. Let's just be there with Him. This is a time to honor Him, to lift Him up, to lift up His name, to praise His name, to lift up His word.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Just worship from your spirit. Just lift up your voice. Thank you, Lord.
You are with us, Lord. You never leave us or forsake us. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Mighty one, exalted, high.
And
You gotta believe. 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 Don't you believe it? Can't you see it? It'll take you higher. When you're feeling kind of done and you're looking for someone who can renew you, who is it? Yeshua. When you're floating on the ark and you're looking for a spark, who's got the fire? Yeshua. When you climb the highest mountain, like every single one of us think we've done, but we're still gonna get higher. Who's got the fire? Yeshua. His word is in the Torah. You've got to get some more of. Get your face down on the floor of. He will never ignore your plea.
You got to believe.
Yeah! You got to believe. You got to believe. One more time. You got to believe. He's Yeshua. You got to believe. You can't renew. You got to believe. Stop the fire. You got to believe. You take you higher and higher. Thank you, Laura. You got to believe. He will.
He's Yeshua.
It's Yeshua.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Joshie.
He's got to step through ya. He's got to step through ya.
Rabbi.
A little different. Praise the Lord. We got some songs we don't have on this. I blew it. That's okay. Praise the Lord. I didn't put the song in there. That's what we forgot. Okay.
It wasn't in there. It wasn't in
Yeah,
there.
but neither was the light, and I wanted the light. Yeah. That's okay. Praise the Lord anyway.
Amen.
That's okay. Praise the Lord anyway.
Yes, amen.
That's a clap offering to the Lord.
Yes.
He deserves a clap offering. Actually,
Yes.
he deserves so much more.
Yes.
You can't, give him everything that he deserves. I mean, think about it. What can we do? We're like so small, but yet he loves our praise. He inhabits our praise.
Amen.
He loves our heart. Whether it's fast or slow. He loves it when it comes from the heart. It's got to come from the heart. When you sing to the Lord, you're not just singing a song we're doing here. We're singing it unto him. Because he is so good. And he's the one that's going to keep us no matter what happens. If the world's falling down, we're standing upon the rock. And we won't fall. We won't. Is everything cool with the camera?
Yeah, the camera's fine.
Okay, great. All right. Don't worry about the system. Just throw it off. We're not going to use it anyhow. You all got a copy of the teaching? I have a full teaching that is 17 pages long that covers so much out of this portion. However, I gave you the shortened version. But if you have an email, you're getting the long version in the email. Okay? Why did I give you the short version? Because this is what the Holy Spirit wants me to share. This is what the Lord wants me to share. So, it's very interesting. This Torah portion is called NASSO. Okay, it means to lift, to bear up. And we were lifting up Yeshua. We are lifting up Yeshua. Even now, we're lifting him up. Okay, and it means to raise up, to carry. You know, and we need to carry each other's problems. You know that? We need to lift up each other. Listen, we're here to build you up. Every one of us is supposed to be here to build each other up. We're not here to tear down. It's done in a lot of places like that. But that's not God's will. Okay, I was once in a place where they gloried in tearing people down. And some delusion in the mind of the leader of that group, he thought that it was good to get people to talk about their hearts, but then they would mock the people who talk about their hearts. Okay, the thing is, all of us are a mess. Praise the Lord. God is with the mess. Okay. And if you don't see yourself as being a mess or sick, then your sickness remains. And that's the words of Yeshua. Okay? He came for the lost. He came for the sick. You know, he's still with us. But he's healing us.
The sinners.
He's with the sinners. But yet, he's also revealing his character in us. He's changing us. He's transforming us every day, every week. Nasa is the root word of naso, to bear up, to lift up. What am I going to talk about? Every week, at the end of the service, I give you the Aharonic benediction. You see this right here? And I pray. But do you really know what it means? This Aharonic benediction is in this Torah portion, and the Lord revealed even more deep secrets in it. The blessing that I'm giving you is greater than what I even know. Okay? And when the Holy Spirit, when the Lord tells me to bless you, like that. Yes. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Sometimes I think I'm loud enough, I don't need a microphone.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, but it's not picking up probably on Facebook.
It is.
So, I mean, without the microphone. Okay, all right. So let's look at Numbers. Open up Bamidbar 6, 22 to 27, or Numbers 6, 22 to 27. Numbers 6, 22 to 27. I'm going to just cover this part of NASSO today, because this is important. It's important to understand this blessing. 6. The whole portion is Numbers 4:21 to 7:89. And for those of you who are on our email list, you're getting the full version and you can study it on your own. But what the Holy Spirit is saying is right here. This is all fresh. Okay, it's what the Lord wants you to know about this portion this week. 6:22, starting in verse 22. Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, so shall you bless the children of Israel, saying to them, May Jehovah bless you and safeguard you. May Jehovah illuminate his countenance for you and be gracious to you. May Jehovah turn his countenance to you and establish for you peace. Let them place my name upon the children of Israel, and I shall bless them." So you see what this is doing? by giving this blessing, I am here in this case, placing a blessing over you. I'm actually placing God's name on you. I didn't even realize that. But that's what it says. Let them place my name upon the children of Israel. You are all joined to the children of Israel through faith in Messiah. You have been grafted in. So this belongs to you as well. You know, in Hebrew, the words are Yivarechecha Yehovah v'Yishmarecha. Ya'er Yehovah panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Yehovah panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. We're going to break this down. This is important because we need to know exactly what's happening to us. And maybe if you know more, you'll realize how much even greater this blessing is in your lives. Okay? So what it's saying, we're going to break down the various words in it. Because it says, may Yehovah bless you and safeguard you. So let's start off with that. The word bless you is barak. It means to bless, to kneel. To kneel. So may Yehovah, it's like when, you know how in the world, when you go before to get, what do you call it? Not crowned. When they knight a leader, they bow down and they put something upon their head. This is what God is doing to us. He's blessing us. He's putting his blessing upon us. So he says, may Yehovah bless you and safeguard you. In other words, to keep guard, to observe, to give heed. May Yehovah illuminate his countenance. Illuminate his countenance for you. You know what that word is? Or. It means to be or become light. Okay? And then, be gracious to you. Pour out his favor and mercy. Favor and mercy. Okay? And may Yehovah turn, lift up. Remember we sang the song? You know, to lift me up last week. And we were talking about lifting him up. Okay? May Yehovah turn, now get this. It literally means lift up. The word turn is nasa. It means to lift, to bear up. It's another word for to lift or to bear up. You know, the word, actually, this is where we get nasa, for the name of the Torah portion. So even in this blessing is the word nasa, which means to lift or to bear up. So may he lift you up. So it says, may Yehovah turn his countenance, right? May he lift up his countenance. Yes.
Since where? NASA?
You know what? That's a good point.
Our space?
Carol just said
Oh my gosh.
that NASA, it means what that's actually short for aeronautical.
National Aeronautical Space Administration.
Right, but isn't it interesting? The word NASA means to lift up. And what are we doing? They're lifting up rockets into space. That's very good. That's very good. NASA, that's a Hebrew word.
They know that.
No, I don't think they do. But isn't it amazing? God is in control.
No, they're not.
God is in control. Even of things like that. That's very cool. That's very cool that you came up and saw that. And look, even the word NASA, N-A-S-A, they have it here as in English to pronounce it. Okay. All right, so, but he says, may Yehovah lift up his countenance. Now, what does that mean? In Hebrew, the word for countenance is face, panim, face or faces, or seraphim or cherubim. Okay? His face. So he lifts up his face to you. In other words, he lifts up his face to you, to show you his face. Well, we're going to break this down a little bit more here in a second. And establish, you know what that means? Set in place, appoint. Set in a stable place. Establish for you shalom, peace. Now this, when you hear the word shalom, peace, it's not just hello, goodbye, you know, have a good day. Okay, it means be at rest. It means actually even deeper than that. It actually means you're in a covenant with God. In other words, may his face be made, he turn his face to you. May he lift up his face to you and establish peace in your life. You know what another word for peace is? The kingdom. May he give you the kingdom. May the kingdom be your life. Okay, so now I want to break it down a little bit. So go to the last page. So this is the blessing by which Elohim told Aharon to bless the people. So we're going to break this down. May Jehovah bless you. Now, what another way of saying that is cause you to kneel down, to humble you, to soften you, to praise so that you can praise the Lord and honor Him. You know what that is? That's salvation. So he's basically saying, may Jehovah bless you with salvation, so that you will bow the knee to Him. And safeguard you. In other words, now look at this. This is what I put in here. Put you on the watch. Teach you to observe His way, His Torah, His calendar, the times and seasons. He Himself, now in this, when you do this, He Himself will watch out for you. You know what that means? Discipleship and maturity in the Word of God and the Spirit. By the Spirit. So in other words, the first one, may Jehovah bless you, means may He bring salvation to you, and then may you be discipled and grow into maturity and maturity. That's safeguard you. He will bless you and safeguard you. May Jehovah illuminate His countenance face for you. He will make you a light, shining His light. That's why this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. As Dean was saying. Okay. May He illuminate His face for you. He will make you a light, shining His light. His light will be in you and on you. Think about this. His light will be in you and on you. And you will glow. You will glow with the glory. It says, and we'll go to that scripture in a moment. I think it's 2 Corinthians 3, 12 to 18. Moses came down and he was glowing. And he had to put a veil over him because the people would see the glow and it would fade away. But he says we have a greater glory than that doesn't fade away. It's Yeshua. He is the glory of the Lord. And it's supposed to be a glory on us that doesn't fade away. Okay? And then he says, who will illuminate His countenance for you and be gracious to you. Mercy and grace will come into your life. Everywhere you go, you will have favor. That's what that means there. May Jehovah turn His countenance to you. You will be lifted up or exalted to heavenly places. Even to His face. He will lift you up to His face. Think about that. I never thought about that. That when I've been doing this blessing, it's like almost like religious sometimes, and I don't try to do it that way. I know to lay the hands. The Lord said to bless the people like this, but it's deeper than that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to contain myself when I do it. Okay, because it literally means may He lift you up to His face. It says in the scriptures we sit in heavenly places with Messiah Yeshua. Okay? So it's like to His face. And then he says right after that, and establish for you shalom, peace. Place you into, appoint you to, direct you to, establish you for, ordain you for His peace, the covenant kingdom. That is the peace that passes all understanding. The rest of these are power, authority, and intimacy. This is all the peace of the kingdom. That He gives you power, authority, and intimacy. Okay, so let's look at some of the scriptures. Okay, may Jehovah bless you. And remember, bring you salvation. Cause you to be upon your knees. And that also means, by the way, every day when we cry out to Him, that we fall upon our knees and ask for His help. And safeguard you. In other words, watch out for you. Make sure you learn His ways. Make sure you follow His path. He'll disciple you. He'll bring you to maturity. And then let's look at this one. May Jehovah illuminate His countenance for you. Let's look at some scripture. That means He will make you a light, shining His light.
at Psalm 30.
Psalm 31:16. We are in a new time. We're in a time of harvest. And in the time of harvest, he's looking for a countenance that glows. You ready to glow for him? He said you either be hot or cold. Guess what? When you're hot, you begin to glow heat. And I'm not talking about temperature hot. I'm talking about spiritually hot. And you begin to cause people to say, what is up with that person? They're glowing. Did they have some radiation or something? No. It's like they are glowing with the fire and the power of God and the Spirit of God. How in the world, when Yeshua walked the earth, what caused everybody to follow him? Have you ever wondered about that? It's like it was all the miracles, right, that he did. But he also taught them. He had truth. Okay, so that's a guideline for us. He said, greater things will you do. That means we have to shine. That means we have to find the fire in us. And if you don't have a fire, you better do whatever it takes to get that fire. Get on your knees. Cry out to him and say, I want the fire.
Yes.
I want the fire that belongs to me.
Yes.
That's my inheritance with the Lord. The fire of God. Okay. Psalm 31:16. Psalm 31:16 says, make your face shine upon your servant. Save me in your loving kindness. Okay, make your face shine upon your servant. Okay, that's what it's saying here. He will make his light shine. He will make you a light shining his light. Okay, Isaiah 60:1-5. I know Maria loves this one, so do I. We wrote a song together about this.
Arise, shine.
Yes, arise, shine. Arise, shine.
Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. And behold, darkness will cover the earth, and deep darkness the peoples. But Yehovah will rise upon you, and his glory will appear upon you. So what does that mean? You will glow. People will see the glory of the Lord upon you in the darkness. See, when the world gets dark, that means we're supposed to shine.
Right.
Because I'll tell you something. When the world has its own light and its own false gods, they're not going to look at our light. But when it gets darker, they will. A little COVID here, a little terrible disease over there, a little terrible events. Unfortunately, people don't respond any other way. Okay, but in darkness, we shine brighter. Now, if this room was completely dark, and one of us glowed with a little glow, it would light the whole room up. The darker it is, the more light we are. We were made to shine in the darkness. Did you know that as believers? Think about it. You have the sun and the moon. Very clearly throughout the Bible, the sun represents Yeshua, Jesus, the bridegroom. And the moon represents the bride. That's us. Okay? And it has no light of its own. It's out there in the middle of space. Its only light comes from the sun, Yeshua. And our only light comes from him. And we get to shine upon the darkness. When does the moon shine? It's not during the day when you can see it. It shines at night. It lights everything up. Have you ever noticed, have you ever gone out to at least half the moon? You can see stuff outside because of that moon. And when it's a full moon, you can see a whole lot. That's what we're called to do. Shine a light in the darkness. That is what he says. May God do that to us. May God do that to you, Israel. And then all of us who are joined to Israel. Someone out there is getting more than a light shine upon them. But anyhow. So let's look at, oh wait, I didn't finish this up. Lift up your eyes around about and see, they all gather together and they come to you. Your sons will come from afar, and your daughters will be carried in their arms. Then you will see and be radiant, and your heart will your heart will thrill and rejoice, because of the abundance of the sea will be turned to you. The wealth of the nations will come to you. I want to go back. Look at number 3. Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. You know what that means? That's the resurrection. The resurrection light flowing through us, our rising. That's what they will come to. When we're living in Him, holy, 100%, devoted to Him, on fire, loving Him, loving His ways. So, that's one. Okay, now go to Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12 is toward the smaller of the prophets, well, smaller writings, anyhow. Right after Ezekiel. There's probably a whole lot more than this, but I'm giving you some of them to see that this is throughout the scriptures. This is how it's all going to end. So are you going to be with this? This is the plan to be with. There's no other plan. Daniel chapter, chapter 12, 2 and 3. Many of those who sleep in the dust of the ground will arise, or will awake. These to everlasting life, but others to disgrace and everlasting contempt. So this is a resurrection, right? And those who have insight, you know what that is? Wisdom. They study. They know the scriptures. Will shine brightly like the brightness of the expanse of heaven. And those who lead the many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. Okay? In other words, you're going to shine how? Because you have insight. You understand God's calendar, so you will shine. You understand God's ways, and you will shine. Look at Matthew 5. Let's talk about Yeshua, what Yeshua said. Matthew 5, 14 to 16. Yeshua said, you are the light of the world. Think about that. Yeshua said, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do men light a lamp and put it under a peg measure, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all those who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Okay, so there's the light that Yeshua was talking about. Matthew 13, 41 to 43. To 43, Matthew 13. The Son of Man will send forth his angels. Now he's talking about the coming at the end, when he comes back, the end of the age. It says here, the Son of Man will send forth his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all stumbling blocks and those who commit lawlessness, and he will cast them into a furnace of fire. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay, actually, I don't know why I have that one there. 13. You know what? Oh, wait, here we go. Okay. Verse 43. Then the righteous will shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear. In other words, again, all of us are righteous by the blood of Yeshua, right? So we're all, everywhere it says we're going to shine. Okay? Do you know that Adam and Chava shined in the garden? They were glowing. And that was their covering. It was light. They were covered with God's light. The reason they knew they were naked was because there was no more light shining when they sinned against God. So they could see everything. But they had no shame when they were in the light, did they? So that's something for you to think about. And the Jews all teach this. Well, there's not really anything that points to it. But we know that they had some covering, and it was different after that. God gave them a different covering after that. Yes. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Look at 2 Corinthians 3, 12 to 18. therefore such a hope. 2 Corinthians 13, 12, 18. Okay. I was not in 13, I was in chapter 4. Sorry. Is there? I think I made a mistake. No, it was 2 Corinthians 13. Oh, yeah, there it is. 2 Corinthians 13. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong place here. I think they're right place. Okay, 2 Corinthians 3, 12 to 18. Okay. Now, if any man builds upon the foundation. Oh, I went to the wrong book. Sorry. Boy, a little slow today. Okay. All right. 12 to 18. Okay, here we go. Okay, so having therefore such a hope, we use great boldness in our speech, and are not like Moses, who used to put a veil over his face, that the sons of Israel might not look intently at the end of what was fading away. But their minds were hardened, for until this very day in the reading of the Old Covenant, the same veil remains unlifted because it is removed in Messiah. In other words, when they're reading the Old Testament, there's a veil over their eyes that they can't see Yeshua, but when they come to Yeshua, it's removed. So what does that mean? We should be reading the Old Testament because now, in the light of Yeshua, we can see the glory of God. We can see Yeshua. But to this day, whenever Moshe is read, Moses is read, that's the Torah, a veil lies over their heart. But whenever a man turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And we all, with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as from the Lord, the Spirit. In other words, light. Glory, another way of saying glory there is light. We're changing from light to light. In the mirror, we're going from glory to glory with an unveiled face. Okay, God wants us at a higher place. And he says, may Jehovah illuminate his face for you. Okay, make his face, make you a light shining his light. May the light be in you and on you. People will see the glory upon your face. It won't be something you can say, look at me. It'll be something that God will do in you. But it only comes to someone who's broken. Someone who's contrite. He's close to a broken and contrite heart. He's close to those who have a need out. So that means, when I tell you this blessing, it means this whole blessing is yours. But you have to do the whole thing. And that means, at first, it starts with you down on the knee. Okay? Being humble before the Lord. Okay? Now, he's gracious to you. And now the other part. And Jehovah, may he turn his countenance to you. Remember where he will lift you to his face? Look at Exodus 33:10. Exodus 33:10. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance to the tent, all the people would arise and worship, each at the entrance of his tent. Okay, now before they built the tabernacle, the glory of God came down on the tent of Moses. Okay, on his tent. Okay, and when they saw that glory come down, they all stood up to look. Okay, that's what is supposed to happen with people around us. Okay? But that means we have to be submitted to the Spirit of God. We can't be doing our own thing. We need the fire of God and that desperation. And I really believe it's coming. But it's only coming to a broken and contrite person, a humble person. You know what? It doesn't matter how wealthy we are or how poor we are. We can all have that. And by the way, everything else in this blessing comes with it. And as we get into it, the covenant kingdom. Okay? But anyhow, let's look at 2 Chronicles 39. Oh, by the way, I didn't do the verse 12, but I'll read it. Moshe said to the Lord, see, you do say to me, bring up this people, but you yourself have not let me know whom you will send with me. Moreover, you have said, I have known you by name, and you have found favor in my sight.
Again, there's the favor.
Remember, the favor of the Lord is in the second part of this, that he will illuminate his countenance upon you and be gracious to you. That's his favor. Okay? See, it really, when God told Aaron through Moses to bless the people like this, it's going to put his name upon the people. There's a reason. God just doesn't do anything just for the sake of doing it. I just want to bless my people. Just let them be. No. There's something in this that's permanent. Okay? And that's what we're trying to find out here. What is God saying that's permanent? 2 Chronicles 30, verse 9. I think that's after Kings, right? These are the words that think of Shlomo, I think. 2 Chronicles 30, verse 9. Okay, if you return to the Lord, your brothers and your sons will find compassion before those who led them captive and will return to this land. In other words, this is what was going to happen. Because Israel was going to be unfaithful, they would be scattered out of the land. But he's telling them, if you do this, this is going to happen. If you repent and return to Jehovah, your brothers and your sons will find compassion before those who led them captive and will return to this land. For Jehovah your God is gracious and compassionate and will not turn his face away from them if you return to him. Now, so the couriers passed from city to city. Okay, actually, yeah, 12 to 18. I read a little earlier, but that's okay. Okay, verse 12. The hand of God was also on Judah to give them one heart to do what the king and the princes commanded by the word of Jehovah. Many people, am I in the right place? Well, this is the second time that's happened. No. It was just 2 Chronicles 30, verse 9. Now that was what I needed to read. He will have compassion. He will have grace upon you if you return. And that's what I wanted you to see in that. That this blessing is an ongoing blessing. It never stops. And there's various parts of it that we break, but we can get it back through repentance. Okay, all right. Now let's talk about the establishing for you shalom. The goal is that he wants to bring you to him. And I should have added here a scripture where it talks about we sit in heavenly places with Messiah Yeshua. He brings us to him. Okay, establish for you peace. Look at Zechariah 6, 12 and 13. Then say to him, thus says Jehovah of hosts, behold, a man whose name is the branch. The branch is a term for Messiah. He will branch out from where he is. He will build the temple of Jehovah. This is in the future. Yes, it is he who will build the temple of the Lord, and he who will bear the honor and sit and rule on his throne. Thus, he will be a priest on his throne, and the council of peace will be between the two offices, that's priest and king. Now the crown will become a reminder in the temple of the Lord. Okay, why did I put that there? Because Yeshua is the king of the kingdom. He is the priest of the kingdom. He is the prince of the kingdom. Okay, he is putting you in his covenant kingdom. And you know what? What did Yeshua say? If you seek first the kingdom, all these things that you need will be met. Food, clothing, and intimacy. Okay, seek first the kingdom of God. And all these things. Well, when you do this, when this blessing is set upon you, he's saying, may God establish his kingdom in you and around you and with you. Okay, so that Yeshua said even the kingdom is within us. Okay, but yet there's a physical kingdom coming to the earth. Okay, so So I wanted you all to see this, okay, that when I did this blessing, may Jehovah bless you, bring salvation, bring humility, bring humbling. This is what God wants to do with us. And then disciple you and teach you. That's safeguard you. Okay, and then illuminate his countenance for it. He will make you a light shining his light. And people will see the glory in your face. And be gracious to you. He will be merciful and graceful, and he will give you favor in whatever you do. And then turn his countenance to you means you will be lifted up and exalted to heavenly places with him. Even to his face. Moses saw God face to face. It says, as a friend. We are a friend of God. He says, I call you my friends, Yeshua. Okay? And to establish for you peace in all areas of your life. Power, authority, intimacy. Every need being met. Every fleshly need, every spiritual need, food, clothing, everything. Okay? That's all that's in that blessing. Did you ever see that before in that blessing? To me, it was like, I never saw that there was all that in that blessing. So,
I told you it was going to be short.
I have a question.
yes, go ahead.
When Moses spoke to the Lord face to face, was it face to face, or because remember, and the word says that no one has seen God, and whoever sees it, if we die at His presence, and we will be.
We got to watch out how we understand that passage about when he said that you can only see my back parts. I don't think he's literally talking about his face, but I think God made him able to see his face, because I think he took him in the spirit at that moment and he saw God, but he couldn't in the flesh see him. So maybe he put him to sleep like he did with Abraham, and his spirit saw him. Okay, at that moment. There's a lot of things we don't know, but we do know this: he saw him face to face, because God literally tells us, the scriptures literally tell us that no one saw God face to face, but Moses did. He saw God face to face. Okay, so we have to accept that. Okay, how? And yet we have that scripture, but maybe we don't understand that scripture that no man see his face. Because it says that he put Moses in the cleft of the rock and he saw all the backward parts. But what did he really see? Okay, the question is, was it something that happened in history? Maybe that's what the back means. The front may mean the future. I don't know. I've heard stories about different ideas about that. But anyhow, that question might remain unknown at this point. Okay, I can't give you an answer to that. But we know that he saw him face to face. Panim al panim. But where was he when he saw him face to face? He saw him in that room where the Ark of the Covenant was. He saw the glory of God came. But there wasn't a covenant, it was just his house. His tent. And then later the Ark of the Covenant will become that place of meeting God. Okay? But there's also heavenly places. So, we can be lifted up into heavenly places. Now, also, often in the Bible where it says lifted up, it means taken out of this body. Because this body is decaying, it's falling apart. Unless God quickens us. Moses was on the mountain twice, 40 days, didn't eat or have any water. Well, that would have killed him, right? But the thing is, God did something to his body that made him able to do that. It's got to be the same way in seeing his face. God did something to him that made him able to see his face. How could Enoch be taken up into heaven in his body? That's the question. How about Elijah? How could Elijah be taken up in a whirlwind, Mike? Okay?
Are they going to be the two witnesses that
No, Enoch, I've heard that story. I'm talking about the people who were taken up in this body. The question is, were they actually in this body? Because it says no flesh and blood can enter the heaven, right? So he might have been changed. Like how we
we talk about, everybody talks about the rapture or the resurrection, changed into a different body, both Elijah and Enoch. Okay, but people say because they didn't die, they have to come and die first. That's not true. The two witnesses come in the power and authority of Moses and Elijah, and they have a mantle, but they're believers. Okay, and they die and then they resurrect. Okay, that's the story for another time. But I want to just pray. Abba, in the name of Yeshua, Lord, I ask you to just help us to understand this blessing. It's greater than any of us could possibly understand, but you are greater than we could possibly understand. We can't know you in this body, but we do know you. We have a relationship with you. We know what Yeshua did, and Yeshua told Thomas, when Thomas, I don't know if it was Thomas, but Thomas asked, will you show us the Father? And Yeshua said, you have seen the Father. Don't you know that the Father is in me, and I am in the Father? We have seen him through the nature, through the character of Yeshua, through the person of Yeshua. Abba, I ask that you just seal this inside of us, and Lord, when I give this blessing, I ask, Lord, that you make it triple the power that it has, and help us to really understand what a blessing it is. And I'm not trying to lift myself up. I'm not, Lord. I'm just doing what you said, Abba, and blessing the people. I don't even know if I'm of the priestly family, Abba. Only the priestly family were able to do it. But Lord, I do it because you have called us priests and kingdom of Messiah. Hallelujah. Yevarechecha Yehovah v'yishmarecha. Ya'er Yehovah panav alecha v'yichunecha. Yitzah Yehovah panav alecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yehovah bless you and keep you. Jehovah lift up his face upon you and be gracious to you. Jehovah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. In the name of our Sar Shalom, our Prince of Peace, Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Boy, I can feel the heat of the Messiah inside. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and peace. Land.
Shabbat Shalom.